are live here at AMC Disney Springs, and I got my cold one from the hole in the wall at the Raglan Road pub. So we got a slight issue here streaming in Disney Springs because there's so many speakers playing copywritten music. Tried to find a spot that didn't have much music playing, so I'm going to be moving around just to show you guys the atmosphere here on July 4th weekend, and we're going to talk about some movies too. So let's get moving. All right. Okay. Oh, it is most definitely a hot day. Let's go. Let's walk it. Camera's flopping around, having some technical difficulties here. But got away from the loud fountain. Trying to find a better spot. Coke factory behind me, as well as Planet Hollywood. Actually, this spot doesn't seem too bad. Never mind, there's a speaker right behind me. So let's keep going. Let's keep on walking. All right. That's the issue we run into here is you're just encountering copyrighted music everywhere, every speaker. Okay. Give you a quick view. So, cover the speaker real quick. All right. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look down that way. Let's check it out. Oh, cast members only. Okay, never mind. That is cast members only. All right. Let's get moving again.
I'm not so sure.
Looking for a spot where the music isn't so prominent. It's pretty tough here. How about next to this little water fountain? that actually might work. Kind of drowns out any copywritten music playing. All right, so I say let's just this is a good spot. I think this is a good spot. I think we're gonna be fine here. All right. So the main reason of this stream is we want to go over the movies that we saw for the week at AMC's. As you can see, I'll show you. Down over there. AMC's A Plus or A List movie pass. You can see 4 movies a week. That's pretty good. So the movies I saw this week are Jurassic Park Rebirth. I saw Bring Her Back, and I was late to the party on that one. I saw 28 Years Later and M3GAN 2.0. So definitely a good mix of movies. I was trying to stay in the horror genre for these 4, but you can't pass up Jurassic Park on the Wednesday showing or whatever it was. Okay, give you another view real quick. All right. So let me see here. Let's get out my my little notebook so we can get the ball rolling on the reviews here. All right. Let's go. So I got some questions from ChatGPT, right? Just to get the ball rolling on the questions here. All right. So of these 4, because remember we're only reviewing the 4. What was the most? What movie was the most I was excited to see out of the 4? All right, let's see. I'm gonna say. I think I'm gonna go with. It's a toss-up between 28 Years Later and M3GAN 2.0. Having seen them both, let's go with 28 Years Later. All right. Which movie did I have the highest expectations for? I'm gonna have to go with M3GAN on this one because I thought that this was gonna be maybe like the next Chucky franchise, so I had the most expectations for that one. What surprised me the most about this film? Well, it doesn't specify in what way, so I'm gonna go with M3GAN again, and the fact that it was a complete genre change. There's really no horror aspects in it whatsoever, so I'm gonna go with that M3GAN 2.0. What scene should I rewatch immediately and why? All right, so we'll do one in each movie. I'm just gonna do whatever comes to mind. Give you a quick view again. All right, so we'll start with since it's the newest one, Jurassic Park Rebirth. Sorry, Jurassic World. So which scene stands out the most? I'm gonna go with, I guess, the raft scene with T Rex, only because T Rex is the best. So anytime he gets screen time is the time you want to watch the movie. So we'll go with that. Even though there was a lot of holes in that scene, I'm gonna go with the T Rex. All right, so now let's go with in order that I seen it. We'll go with 28 years later. What scene was the most prominent in that one? Um, oof. Let's see. Okay, well, this isn't a scene, but this is just a clip slash new camera type of shot. I'm gonna go with when the arrows hit the rage virus people, like when it hits them, it kind of goes through, and then you get this cool effect where it's like it goes through and then it goes. I thought that was really cool. I think that's. I'm pretty sure that's the where they used all the iPhones at, because you can see that weird looking camera rig type thing they have set up on the media shots. So it's funny. It's almost like what do they call that? The artist's palette, where they got all the different paint colors around. That's what that reminded me of. So I think that stood out the most because when I first seen it, the first one hit, I was like, oh, I like that. That was awesome. All right, now let's go. I should just lose this tripod thing. It's shaking around too much. Let's give you a quick view. All right. Next movie is let's go with Bring Her Back. What scene stood out the most? I'm gonna say maybe when the little demon kid bit the knife. I'm gonna say that was the most. That one had the most effect. We'll say. All right, now M3GAN 2.0. What scene for that? There's a tough one. Oh, we're getting some raindrops here. I might have to shift a little bit. M3GAN 2.0. What scene was the best? That stood out the most? Ooh, this is a tough one. Hmm. This is a tough one. It's tough to talk positives about this, especially when you're expecting a horror type movie and you just get a complete genre change. But um, man, I don't know. I guess the one part that I laughed at the most was when M3GAN wanted to be put in a body, because she was on like software. She wanted to be put in a body, and they put her in like a um, little kid's toy type thing. That was pretty funny. So I'll say with that. I'll go with that. Uh, Here's a good shot of the AMC theaters. I'll give you a quick shot. All right. Let's see. I don't know why this camera's shaking around too much. I'm gonna have to get rid of it. Get rid of this tripod. All right, now we got to move on to the next question. Okay. Remember, this is all about the A List movie pass in AMC. You see 4 movies a week. That's a lot of movies. I'm going to do 4 each week and then review them, and then I'm going to pick which one was the best. So that's what this is about. All right? All right, let's see. Next question. Which character or moment would I quote in chat? Well, that's a tough one. That's a random question. These were provided by ChatGPT. Random questions. All right. Let's see. Uh, I guess we'll pick. Try to pick something from each movie, or it's gonna be tough. Uh, hmm. All right, that's gonna be a tough one. How about we alter it to which character was the best in each movie? All right, let's do that. Okay. Let's go ahead and we'll start in order from what I seen last. Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Rebirth. Best character has to go to. I guess it's got to go to the T Rex. Best character. That's it, hands down. All right. Moving on to 28 years later. Best character was. I got to refer to my notes. Just, just for names of the character. Okay. Let's see. All right. So the character's name was Jamie. I would have never remember that. That was played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he gets the best character award in this one for me because I haven't really been sold on him just yet from Bullet Train and then uh, Craven, but I think this performance of his, I was sold on this one. So if they're gonna cast him to be the next Bond, then I say go ahead and I'm gonna go see it in the theaters. All right, so that's that. All right, now we're going to bring her back. Who wins the best character? Oh, this one is tough. This one had good performances in it. Pretty good. Okay. Let me refer to notes again. Names of characters are fleeting. They're fleeting. All right. Let's see. All right. Sally Hawkins. I think she probably gets the best character because I was a big fan of The Shape of Water, and then just to see her play a completely different character like this was just really, really amazing. I think in terms of her acting range. So she gets into this one. I think that was probably an easy one. The character's pretty good. It's got a little bit of Anthony Perkins in there in terms of like playing the uber nice character, but they're really behind the scenes of something deeply wrong with this character. And she nailed it. So that was an easy one. And then Megan, the last one. I'm just gonna give it to Megan. All right, Megan did the best. What are you gonna do? All right, next question. Okay. All right. Did these movies meet or subvert my expectations? All right, this is gonna be a good one. All right, sun just came out. It's hot out here. We're in Florida. It's hot. It's like 90 degrees. Quick view. All right. Let's start with Jurassic Park. Did it meet or subvert? I'm gonna say, hmm, this one's kind of tough because I didn't really have big expectations for it. Oh, see that rain coming? That rain is coming. Yeah, like I said, I didn't really have big expectations for it. Only because the last 10 that came out, none of them were going to be anywhere near the original. And basically, yeah, none of them were going to be near the original. So, did it meet my expectations? I'm going to say no, because I thought that ScarJo was going to bring it, and not that I don't think she did bad or anything like that, but I thought she was going to do something performance wise less girl boss. How about that? How about we say that? And I would have liked to see more vulnerability out of her character. Um, but yeah, it was kind of like the vulnerability came from the Dr. Grant type character. He was kind of like uh, the not manly man, we'll say, in this movie. All right, let's get a quick view again. Quick view. That's Planet Hollywood. AMC in the background there. All right. Grab a quick drink real quick. All right. Now the next one is 28 years later. Did this one meet my expectations? I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say it did. I'm seeing a lot of reviews out there on YouTube saying that they were disappointed in this movie, but I'm gonna say that this one did meet my expectations. Thought it was their job was to scare you, make you feel uneasy. That's the kind of movie it is, a horror movie, and I think they accomplished that. All right, now Bring Her Back, which is the YouTube directors from Talk to Me. Did this one meet my expectations? I'm gonna say yes. The first 3 quarters of the movie really did the job in terms of making you feel uneasy and unsettling, and just real creepy stuff. And then really amazing body horror. Um, yeah, the only issue I had with that one was the ending. But the ending kind of moved away from the emotion that you kind of need in a horror movie, I guess you'd say. They went for like a happy ending, even though the events that happened right up to that weren't really a happy type ending, so it was kind of weird. But it still met my expectations, so they did a really good job. Um, let's see. I remember we are in Disney Springs, talking about the AMC A List movie pass. You get to see 4 movies a week. I mean, that's a great deal. So the purpose of this is I'm gonna see 4 movies and then review them and then face them off and crown which one was the best of the week. and then we'll go to what was the best of the month. All right, now last one, M3GAN 2.0. Did that one meet my expectations? No, definitely did not. Like I said, I thought this was going to be the next Chucky, right? In a new, reimagined way. The sequel was not that at all. This looks like a franchise that was not inspired by Chucky, but now it's inspired by the Terminator, where the Terminator was bad in the first one and then became the hero in the second one. I think that's what they're going for in this. And if we, you know, if we knew that, then maybe we'd think differently. But I don't know. I guess we didn't know. People back then, people didn't know that about Terminator. So we'll see where the third one goes. So maybe this is it's either brilliant or madness, right? We'll see. All right. Check this view out. All right. So the next question's going to be. All right. What stood out emotionally in each movie? All right. This one's going to be a good one. I think this is a good question. This one is a good question. All right. What stood out emotionally? I'm going to start with Jurassic Park again, or Jurassic World. Emotionally, I'm going to say I'm going to say unhappy. I was unhappy with the fact that one of the most iconic scenes with Jeff Goldblum, where he's trying to divert the T-Rex's attention away from the kids in the SUVs with the flare, he's trying to divert them. To me, that's one of the most memorable scenes, maybe even Hollywood history. They swagger jacked that entire scene and just gave it to someone else. Um, yeah, so that's the most emotion I got out of that movie. I was like, how could you do this to Jeff? How could you do this? How could you do it? All right, next movie. 28 years later, emotionally, I'm gonna say I think the beginning of the film they really did a great job in capturing the fear aspect, especially with the way that they cut. They put in little insert shots like the rage people, and they were like shot in red and had like glowing eyes. They cut that in, and then they cut in like war shots and then medieval times type shots, just to give you the tone of the movie, that we're back to a primitive world. And I thought that was kind of reminiscent of House of a Thousand Corpses, when where Rob Zombie would cut away to random stuff just to give you the emotion of how you should be feeling in this particular moment. I thought that they did a really good job in doing that, and I think that came from the movie. Where they're at in the world of that movie is a primitive world, and I think that they use primitive techniques to try to tell the story, and I thought that was a good idea. All right, bring her back emotionally. Um, what's the emotion? Cringe. I guess the emotion is cringe. They had the body horror special effects were so good in this one. So good. Like if you're big on the body horror type stuff, I mean, I don't think you can get any better than this. Like, they made it look so real. So it was very, very convincing, especially the knife scene and then the table scene. So just keep that in mind. Very good, very good. Well done on the body horror. M3GAN, the best, the most notable emotion that I had watching M3GAN was probably disappointment that it was a genre change. Yeah, I think so. And the dance was nowhere near the first one. The first one, iconic, iconic. That's just one of those scenes that I think goes into cinema history. They did a dance in this one, but like she was like wearing a robot type suit. She had different hair, different look. I think they missed the mark on that. Um, it's just the first one, the viral dance it hit so well because it was horror. You know, the guy's running away from this evil doll or this evil robot doll trying to kill him, and then she just stops and breaks out into a dance. And he's like, "What are you doing?" Like, the music was right in that scene, everything was just right in that scene, and then in M3GAN 2.0, they just really missed the mark on that one. But I'm still gonna see the third one, so see where it goes. Let's see. Next question. Would I see them on streaming once they come out? Yeah, absolutely, of course. That's one of the things that I do. I think that strengthens you as a filmmaker is you don't just watch a movie once. You watch it as many times as you can. You dissect it. You see the strengths and the weaknesses, and you especially the strengths. Like if there's a particular emotion that the director was trying to convey, you have to figure out how did they get to that emotion. Like they don't just like a lot of filmmakers nowadays, these big budget ones, they'll try to convey an emotion and they'll mimic a scene that was similar in the past in cinema history, and they'll just mimic that scene, and then it'll fall flat, and they won't know why it fell flat. It's like the reason why it falls flat is because you don't just study the scene, you have to study up what led into that scene if you want to truly capture the emotion that you're trying to get out of the audience, not just the scene, what led up to that scene or what's going to happen after that scene. That's the only way to do it. You can't just mimic a scene because then it's just out of place. You see that in a lot of movies nowadays, a lot. All right. Next question. All right. What was his biggest strength? That's kind of like the same as the scenes. All right. Let's skip that one. Biggest weakness? That's. All right. I guess we can do that. All right. So, what were the biggest weaknesses? All right. Let's give you a quick. Before I answer that, let's give you a quick view. All right. So, the next question is, what was the biggest weaknesses of these films? All right. So, we'll start with Rebirth. Biggest weakness. I think the biggest weaknesses in Jurassic World Rebirth is that they relied on too many, I'll say, stolen shots or scenes from the original Jurassic Park. There's too many of them. Like one or two nods to the original, where you consider that paying homage. One or two would probably be good, but this one there's like at least six, and that becomes maybe a lack of creativity, I think. All right. Biggest weakness in 28 years later. Ooh. Biggest weakness is that because they already know that it's going to be a trilogy again, like not just all the three that came out already. This one is going to be in its own trilogy. They ended this one and left a lot of unanswered questions because they already assumed that there's going to be three of them, which I think that when you make a movie, even if you know that it's going to be a trilogy, it should end and then fill in gaps, so we're not leaving with feeling like we've been misled, or we didn't get the full story. I think each one should stand alone on its own. Let's see. Now we are on Bring Her Back. What was the biggest disappointment in Bring Her Back? That one's easy. That one is the ending. The ending was the. I'm not going to spoil it, but the ending was the biggest disappointment. Um, I'll give you part of the reason. This kind of ties into what I was saying before about you don't just shoot the scene. You have to know what leads up to the scene. All right. So there's a moment at the end when the lady is. Now, spoiler alert. Sally Hawkins is hugging her deceased daughter, her corpse, and at this moment, we're supposed to be feeling something for her, like compassionate. That's what the filmmakers want us to feel. But we just went the whole movie as she's the bad guy, and we're supposed to be scared of her and rooting for not her, rooting for the two foster kids. And then all of a sudden, we're supposed to feel compassionate towards her just at the end. And I think that a shot like that was probably inspired by a shot like um, Shutter Island, where Leonardo DiCaprio was, holding his wife as she's burning away and turns into dust in one of his flashback dreams. I think they're trying to convey that type of emotion. But like I said, that was built up. That scene was built up over the course of the movie in order to get that emotion. But for Bring Her Back, it's like we did the complete opposite. We watched the complete opposite in the movie to get that emotion. Like, how are we supposed to have that compassionate feeling towards her when in the whole movie we're not feeling compassionate towards her at all? You see what I'm saying? All right, quick view. All right. What was I most disappointed with in M3GAN? That one's another easy question. That's the genre change. I went in expecting a horror movie, and we got a Transformer slash Terminator slash Kung Fu movie. That was an easy one. All right. Let's see what the next question is. Disney Springs here. All right. Next question is, what technical aspect stood out the most in each movie? Okay. I'm going to say for Jurassic Park, I'm going to say the CG. The dinosaurs look really good. They looked convincing. And, even though those are some shots that they mimicked or copied from the original, like the Brontosaurus shot when they first see them in the original, the big dinosaur with the big long neck. They do a very similar shot in Rebirth. Um, as much as the original is better, the CG in that scene is not good at all compared to the new one. So, very impressed with that. Okay, how about 28 years later? What was the technical aspect that stood out in 28 years later? That was the arrow shot. Let me see if I can mimic it here for you. Where the zombie would get shot with the arrow straight on. It would go, and then we go. I thought those were really cool. But it was definitely eye popping. Bring her back. Uh, Definitely the body horror was the best. Their uh, their special effects, makeup, and stuff like that, just absolutely perfect. Really, like there's a part where the little demon kid is biting stuff. You'll see when you watch it, and it just looks real. So that's very impressive stuff. Megan, I'm gonna say Megan. It was well lit. I thought it was well lit. A lot of colors, everything popped. I was impressed with that, definitely. All right, let's see what the next question is. Next question is, who gave the best standout performances? I think I already covered that. Yeah, I covered that one already. Moving on. Did any theme or message stick with me? All right. Well, let's see if we can even figure out what they were. How about that? Let's go from there. All right. Like I said, none of these questions are pre-thought. All right. I'm reading these for the first time. So let's say, um, Jurassic World Rebirth. What's the theme or message of that movie? Oof. Global warming, maybe, because the dinosaurs can only live around the equator. I guess that was the message. All right, and then I guess trying to find a cure for heart disease. I guess those are the messages. Or yeah, I think so. Yeah. All right, next, moving on. Um, 28 years later, what's the messaging for that? These are tough questions to not prepare for. Okay, so the message in 28 years later, that maybe it's that society uh, is a revolution. It revolves. So even though we're advanced, we may eventually revert to medieval times. Or yeah, I think that might actually be what the message is. Because I say that because the rage people, they they're not zombies because they're not like dead. They actually start forming communities, so they're very much living, and they're very much caveman esque. So I think that's what they're trying to tell us is, it's going to go around, and we're going to end up back at that. If we can avoid that, let's avoid it, because it doesn't end well. And that being said, I believe the rage people kind of branch off into two separate. There's caveman esque, and then the alphas are more like Neanderthal type people. So I think they're pulling inspiration from evolution. All right, message from Bring Her Back. Okay, what is the message from Bring Her Back? That's a tough one. Hmm. Definitely on the spot on this one. What is the message? Oof. Message from Bring Her Back. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't fall victim to manipulation. You know, because the lady's all nice up front. Turns out she's a evil, demonic lady. So maybe that's what it is. You know, be more, be more cautious in who you're trusting. Maybe that's the message. All right, moving on. All right, Mickey. Megan 2.0. What's the message? Um, this is a tough question. The messages or themes in Megan 2.0. Oh, okay. Because Megan's technology is weaponized, I think we have to be careful with AI and where it's going to eventually lead. So just be cautious of AI, all right? There's no stopping it. It's coming. Be aware of it, right? And if we have to get Megan 2.0 to help us out, then we might have to, okay? She might have to save the world for us. All right, next question. Give you a view. Look up the next question. All right, Disney Springs. Okay, I had to find a spot that music wasn't playing because I'd get copywritten. All right. All right. Next question is, how would these films compare to the others in its series? All right. So let's go with Jurassic Park, Jurassic World Rebirth. All right. Where does this compare? I think that this one. There's a lot of them. Way below the original. How about that? We'll go way below the original and right on par with the Dominion. Although I personally would grade it a little lower because I think they rely too much on nostalgia from the original. I think you want to rely on nostalgia from the original. Let's cast some of the original cast. And this one, they had none of the original cast in there, other than the T Rex and the Laphosaurus. So that's why I rate that one. All right, 28 years later. This is a tough one. I actually really like the primitive aspect of it. That they revert back to medieval times style of living. A tough one. Um, I'm gonna say it rated pretty good, pretty good. I think it's right on par. One of the my favorite aspects of this movie is that the one casting choice that they made, there's this character who's the crazy, possibly crazy doctor, and we don't know much about him. He's just this mysterious character. We don't know if he's good or we don't know if he's good or if he's bad. And I thought that the casting for that, like, what better casting choice that we would get for that type of character where he's so mysterious and we don't really see him to the end than Voldemort, right? Because that's in Harry Potter. We only hear about Voldemort for like 3 movies, and then we finally see him in the 4th movie. So I thought, like, casting Ralph Fiennes, you can't get a better casting choice than that. So I thought that that was perfect for that, and I'm excited to see where his character goes in the series. Um, Bring Her Back isn't a it's a standalone movie, but I'll rate it against the director's previous film, Talk to Me. I'm gonna say, in terms of horror, I think the horror was better in this one. I thought this one was more, gives you more, makes you more uneasy and unsettling, and the suspense, and it's really good at suspense, to not to where you feel like you're waiting for the next answer. They put you in suspense, but they keep the ball rolling. So I thought that was good. The only One of the only things I would say against Talk to Me is that Bring Her Back's ending fell off, and Talk to Me's strength was the ending. And they say the ending is the most important part of the story. So I say that Talk to Me wins that battle. All right, and Megan, that's going to be another easy one. I like the horror aspect of Megan, where it could have possibly been the rebirth of the new Chucky franchise. It's something inspired by that, and they just went completely different route, complete genre change. So I think the winner in that one, hands down, goes to Megan the original. All right, next question. Let's give you a view while I look it up. Oh, oh, here's a good view. That's a nice view. Look at that. Got a view of Disney Springs here. All right, so the next question is, let's see. All right, this will be a quick one. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would I rate these? All right, that's basically the same as a IMDb rating. So let's uh, let's make this a quick question. All right, Jurassic Park Rebirth. Sorry, Jurassic World. All right, Rebirth. I'm gonna give that one a. We've got to do solid numbers, so I'm gonna say it's leaning more towards a 6. 28 years later, I'm gonna go with a 7. Bring Her Back, I'm gonna go with a 6. If the ending was stronger, then I would have been a 7. But the ending is so important, so 6. Megan, 2.0. I'm going to give you 2 scores on this one, all right? Hear me out. As a sequel to Megan, a 5. Okay? Because it's a complete genre change. If we take that movie, Megan 2.0, and just pretend it was his own standalone movie, it's just a regular AI movie like iRobot or something like that, I would give it a 6. I think it would be good. Like if we're looking at AI movies that are out there right now, like Subservience with Megan Fox, and we compare that to that. I mean, the budget's pretty similar. Megan 2.0 wins hands down. So I'm just giving you an example for an AI movie. But as a sequel to the original Megan, it scores low. All right. Give you a view while I look up the next question. All right. I'm going to alter this question a little bit. It says, would I recommend this movie and why? All right. So would I recommend Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, and why? Let me alter it even more. Would I recommend the movie to be watched now in theaters, or would I recommend to wait to stream? How about that? Let's switch to that. All right. So, Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm gonna say, if you've seen it the way I seen it, I saw it with the real 3D glasses. Absolutely visually stunning. I would say see it in theaters. All right. All right. 28 years later, if you want to experience the true jump scares and the true fear that the movie's going to bring to you, I say see in theaters. Yes. Bring her back. Well, you only have like maybe a couple days left to see that in theaters, so I'll say you might as well wait to stream it. Um, Megan 2.0. If you're a fan of the original and you're going to see a sequel to that, I say just wait to stream it. But if you're just looking for a high action packed AI movie, I then see it in theaters. Which that one you might be out of time on that. I don't know. Maybe you have a couple days left with that one too. All right, give you some views while I get the next question. Disney Springs. Check it out. It's hot out here. 90 degrees out here. AMC is. Oh, sorry about that. AMC is like right there somewhere. All right. So the next question is. Okay, so let's. I'm going to combine this next question. It is, if I could ask the director one question, what would it be? And what would I change if I remade this? So I'm going to try to. I'm going to combine those two. All right. Again, if I could ask the director one question, what would it be? And if I could remake this, what would I change? All right. For Jurassic World, if I could ask the director one question, what would it be? I would say, when you put all these nods to the original in, were they was the purpose of them to be nostalgic feeling for the viewer, or was it a lack of creativity? All right, and what would I change about this? I would change the flare scene. I would let if I'm gonna try to recapture nostalgia from the flare scene with the Jeff Goldblum and the trying to divert the T Rex's attention. I would 100% absolutely recast, not recast. I would cast Jeff Goldblum and redo the scene himself. Like, don't let someone else do his scene. That's his iconic scene. I don't think you. I don't think you change that. I think if you're gonna do it for the purpose of nostalgia, you get Jeff Goldblum to do it. Okay, that's just like simple mathematics there. All right. 28 years later, what question would I ask? Ooh, that's a tough one. Hmm. All right. Why did you wait? Story wise, why would you wait for the father, played by Aaron Taylor? Why would it take him 28 days to go and look for his son and dying wife? Like, he didn't strike me as being that kind of person where he would wait. He strikes me as he would go the very next day he found out that they went. So they kind of left that. I mean, I don't know if they wanted, this is a stretch, but I don't know if it was, the scene where he was cheating after the bar. I don't know if they wanted us to think like, oh well, he already had his replacement family, so he was good. Which I don't think that was good. That was it. But that's the only kind of, from the information they gave us, that's the only part where you can go. So that would be my question. And then what would I change? I would fill in that hole there. I think that was because they already portrayed him as a man's man. Wanting to teach his son and stuff like that. So it just doesn't seem. It seems out of character for him to just wait 28 days. Like, I know they gave you that line of dialogue in the beginning where, oh, if anybody goes out there and they stay out there or something like that. But he strikes me, the personality that he has, he would go look for them. So that's a hole that I would like to have answered. Um, bring her back. I would ask the director why you would try to make a happy ending for uh, the villain of the movie. It was just kind of weird. And then to change it, I would absolutely not have it end that way. Absolutely, that, like, they try to make us be like, oh, there's police coming to arrest her though, so it's not a happy ending. No, you're already trying to make us feel compassionate for this character who's already the bad character. So just having the cops run in at the end of the clip doesn't work. You just can't have that. We're not here to feel compassionate about her. She's the bad person. She just got done killing one of the main characters. I'm not going to say who, but yeah, I would definitely, absolutely change that. Uh, Megan, I would ask the director. Sorry about that. Phone's all wobbly. I would ask the director if you were inspired by Terminator when you made this series, because it just really, really fell in line where Arnold was bad in the first one and then became the hero in the second one. And I'd also ask him, did you already have this intended when you made the first one? Like, was this already the path she was going to go, the Megan character? Or was this something that was more of a, you guys thought it would be more of a commercial appeal to expand from horror, which I thought was a big mistake. This is horror fans. That's why it's in Horror Nights. Turning it into a action kung fu AI movie, I think wasn't a great idea, but and the box office reflected that. But we'll see where the third one goes. I'm still going to watch it. All right, next question. Next question. Oh, it appears we are at the end of the questions. So now it is my turn to crown the winner. Again, remember, this is the AMC A List membership where you get 4 movies a week. My goal is to watch the 4 movies a week in theaters and then crown the winner each week. All right, so out of Jurassic World Rebirth, 28 years later, Bring Her Back, and M3GAN 2.0, what was my favorite watch for the week? And the winner, not to this beer. This is a Blue Moon, I think. They forgot to put the orange in there, so now it's even worse. All right, so the winner of the week goes to my favorite watch, and the one I'm going to most recommend goes to no other than 28 years later. That was the best one. I recommend that one the most, right? And like I said, before this movie, I wasn't really sold on Aaron Taylor Johnson's work, Bullet Train, Craven, and the other movies he was in. But I am now, and if they choose him to be the next Bond, I'm excited to go see it. And we'll see it in theaters, and I'll throw it right up on this weekly 4 list and judge that movie when it comes out. But 28 years later, movie of the week. That's it, baby. Thank you. All right. If you're just tuning in now, remember I just crowned the winner here. Best movie that I seen this week out of Jurassic World. 28 years later, Bring Her Back and M3GAN 2.0. I crown the winner to be 28 years later. I think that's the best one. All right. And next week, I'm excited to see what's going on. This membership thing resets every Friday, which is tomorrow. So let me just go over some of the movies that are going to be playing tomorrow. Let's see. All right. Oof, it's a thin list. I could see. Let's see. I could see F1. That could be one of the 4. Um, Elio. Not really into the cartoon stuff too much. How to Train Your Dragon. That might be one to see. Lilo and Stitch. It's gonna be like a PG week. But I'm excited for what's coming up the following week. We're gonna have the Superman, so definitely gonna review that. And I think if that one comes out in the real 3D, I think 100% you should see that. I saw Jurassic Park, Jurassic World in the real 3D. Phenomenal in terms of the visuals. We got The Last Rodeo. All right, might want to watch that. I'm trying to group these movies together similarly. Like if I'm gonna do F1, I'll probably do Last Rodeo and then maybe Mission Impossible if it's still in there. And then for the fourth one, oof, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. Or maybe I'll do all animated next week. I don't want to though. I like live action. Live action horror is the best, right? All right, we are in Disney Springs here. Been streaming for like over an hour, right? Been milking this beer. It's warm now. Got some storm clouds in the distance. Might pass us, but again, the winter, 28 years later. Highly recommended. Highly recommended. The Underdog producer, Nicholas Zerillo, signing out. Got a movie in the works, The Mask, Salem chapter. This one is a horror, okay? Not a horror comedy, not a dark comedy, not a thriller. This is a horror, all right? I'm looking to bring fear to the audience, right? A lot of movies nowadays they want to do laughs in between the scares. No, I'm looking for true horror. That's what I'm going to bring to the audience. All right. So, the Underdog producer, signing out. Cheers. See you next week.